Right then, here we are with the mobility scooter again. I think I showed you last time the engine and alternator being mounted. They're on there, good enough. Ah, no, I didn't show you that. I'll show you that in a second. As you can see, alternator, still no nut. I actually have a nut for that now. As you can see, the threads, you might not be able to tell by camera, but the threads are barely poking out. So I bought this special nut that is a threaded shaft further down inside, so I can put that inside the pulley and it will thread down and tighten it down. And then that way we're sorted. Would be nice if I just had an alternator that was right, but this is the one I had from a scrap Land Rover from work. So that's why it's also got this silly piece of box section down the side here, because the original mounting for a Land Rover is bolted directly to the engine, and then you use a tensioner to tension the belt. I'm going to be using the alternator to tension it, so it's using box section there, a piece of threaded rod down to my piece of box section, and then down in there you'll see where the angle liner was I showed you earlier for the engine mount. I've just bolted into that, and that should be enough to hold that alternator in place. If it isn't, we can make it stronger, but for now it'll do for testing. But my main goal right now is to get this front axle in. This I just got yesterday. Had to modify it already. First of all, because these shafts, first of all, wrong circlip, getting them ordered. Next thing, just tip over already, there you go. Next thing, these are 20mm shafts, and these are 3/4 shaft wheels, so I've had to grind these shafts down to the right size. I've also had to modify the, which I already knew about this one, this angle of this piece for the steering. As you can see, I've had to grind 2 slots down and bolt it on. It used to sit on those slots, top and bottom, and now they're side to side, because it used to sit that way. If I can try and get my, it sat that way over the top of the tyre, which was A, in the way, and B, not the way my steering works. But yeah, right now we're trying to work out a way of mounting to in here. I'm going to try and use the original pivot in there. The plan is to, well, essentially with this axle, my plan is to drill and bolt these 3 bolts and cut the top of this axle off so that it can fit in here. So actually, hang on, let me show you. There we go, sorted. So, as you can see, the pivot is in the hole, crudely, and the issue is, well, if I stand back, as you can see, she's sort of raked that way, and I don't want that. I need lower by about 2 inches on the front, which unfortunately 2 inches is either cut 2 inches out all up here and try to modify the steering, or cut 2 inches off the top of this axle, let the axle go further up, and just put a piece of box here with the thing. And also the next problem I got is when it's going to be further up, it's going to be closer to this back arch, and if I turn the steering, it's touching now, I can cut that off. When this axle's further up by 2 inches, this is going to be 2 inches lower inside of the tyre, like there-ish. So hopefully moving it forward an inch will allow a bit more room. I've still got to cut it, that's for certain. We're going to try and make a nice smooth transition there, but less cutting the better. And hopefully steering will just get linked straight from here to the original sway bar piece. As you can see, it's just there. That can just go straight onto there, and that should be good. So after much deciding with myself, much discussion, I think I'm going to have to go for the plunge and just cut this entire piece off. And just like that, gone. And just like that, axle. Completed it, mate. Now we can literally just move this to wherever I want. I mean, hell, if you want a really narrow path, there you go, little axle. You can pivot on there. But yeah, that's the plan. Bolt that in there. Send it. And that, actually, this is, weirdly, this is lighter. Means that's thicker, better stuff, that is. Yeah, so we'll get that mounted in there, hopefully. At least try to. Alright, just for the fun of it, my drill decided to go flat. Right at my last little hole I got to drill. Just got to drill out the centre shaft hole there. And then she's in. As far as I can see, that is, apologies, as far as I can see, that is now about where it wants to sit, which is a lot better. Yeah, might be a little bit raked backwards, but it's such a tiny amount, I'm not worried about that. I'm just glad I got it down 2 inches. So the fun bit will be, once this is bolted in correctly and this is positioned right, I know exactly where to cut then here, and also up here to get the arch, hopefully, to that line that's already partially there from before. We'll have to wait and see till my drill's ready. Yay. And there we are. Functioning front axle. It's all bodgy for now, just to prove, do proof of concept, so know what to order. I've left these bolts in here, these bump stop things, because when my axle's articulating, you can see it gets quite close to the chassis in there. As it's moving up and down, it gets quite close on the crossbar. So what I'm going to do is, well, I could flip that, but I'd rather leave that up behind the axle where it's safe. So instead, it'll just stay there. Right then, so as I just showed you, got the steering working, and I'm just trying to get it attached to the actual steering of the vehicle, mobility scooter, what do you want to call it. And I'm thinking if I take that little plate out there and bolt it to the outer rigger, outer bolt hole, outer whatever you want to call it, I think that'll be the correct position. I'm just having a bit of fun trying to get the bolts out because they're a little bit tight in here. It's got to be enough. Oh, there we go. Lovely, right. That plate's out. Lovely, get out of my way. And I'm thinking, bolt it to... Hang on, we're going to use this. Bolt in there. Little spacer in there, because that's what it had on the mobility scooter, so we'll put it in there again. I reckon if we go on there and on there, it should be pretty good. Well, it might be a little bit too long still, I don't know. Can I get in there? Yes, I can. Look at that. Lovely. Right then. There's my rod, shortened by about an inch. How does this all go back together? Oh, that's almost perfect. Look at that. And I can make it. It might need to be a fraction longer, but that's okay because that's the whole point of the adjustment. Let's put the nut in. It needs tightening, but I think that'll do for now as a temporary thing. If I want more steering, I can always add it. Let me tighten that up, and I'll bring you back with the wheels on. From the front, wheels are sure they're still a little wide. Yeah, they're a little wider than the back, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. It's fucking better than 3 inches wider, like it was that much wider. So half of that amount, yeah, it was too much. It was too much. It looked gangly. It still does look now. It still looks a bit gangly now, but that'll do. I'm happy with that. Sitting pretty level now. Has an axle, has wheels. It's looking pretty good, and an engine. Looking like a little beast now, isn't it? Fuck yeah. Yeah, you can grab the steering, and as you can see, it turns the wheels. Can't go too much because it pushes the wheels off. But yeah, just got to cut those out, put clips on the wheels because I've got nothing holding the wheels on for now. You can see it's got a nice bit of articulation, not a lot, but it's got enough. It's only because when I lift this, you'll see it gets quite close to that steering piece there. So if I steer left and lift it, it almost hits. So I can't go too far with it. But we've got a bit of articulation anyway. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Sorry, I forgot to record it, but we've just cut the arches. So they still look pretty factory. But I can now do full lock. And we just miss. And full lock. I can't do full lock now because the other side's hitting. But it's quite simply, I just did a nice cut up there. This is all factory, and then I just need to tidy this bit up, but I just hacked this off. Same this side. As you can see, it's a 90-degree down there. So we'll just start about here. Just do a nice little whoop around there. So it ends up looking like this side. So I took off a 90-degree off of here, and that's fixed the clearance issue. Yeah. Right. There she is, now finished. Well, finished. So now we have full steering, left and right, as you'd want it on a scooter. Yeah, let's get it turned around. So here we go, alternator. Here's the plan, here's my nut, because my pulley, when it's on, that's where it will live. It's got not even a thread sticking out. A special nut will go inside this pulley. and it'll thread most of the way in there, and yeah, that should hold it on. Right, so that'll go there. That'll go in there. There we go. Pulley is on. I'm happy with that. That'll do nicely. So it doesn't look safe, but it is quite safe. Nice. Right, we're about there now. So she, annoyingly, I can't hold it out far enough, but now she's steering every way, which way I want it to go. Left and right. Goes forward and backwards. And also brakes when I pull the brake. I can't, yeah, terrible trying to show that. But yeah, that is it now. That is now axle in. Just got to put a piece of, like I say, another piece of box section across the front here. As you can see, my stoppers do stop the axle going too far. So we got a bit of travel. Not too much, but a little bit, just enough. We got, yeah, I don't know what else to show really. She's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, considering how old the old axle looks like. In there. Let's get the old one. There's the old one. You can just pop that inside, and it will just sit in between where it used to be. You can see how much higher it is now. Yeah, that is quite funny, that is. Oh, that is funny. Anyway, there we go.